Hi, my name is Mary Spender, and you are watching
Tuesday Talks.
And this is KT Tunstall.
Hello.
Tuesday Talks. Your signature sound, where it's like really percussive guitar, mainly acoustic, but you have obviously played electric a lot. Have you ever had the opportunity of getting a signature guitar made?
I am slightly disappointed that it's not come my way actually, but I think if I was going to do one, it probably would have happened right at the beginning when Eye to the Telescope blew up and, like I know Ed Sheeran's done one and Taylor Swift has done one. And I have to say that when my record came out, it was a slightly different time when musicians and brands weren't really quite as in each other's pockets as they are now. And as a musician then, I was super kind of hesitant to do anything with an advert or a commercial or it was when I got offered stuff and would turn it down, and I'd probably do it now because I think people's perception of artists working with brands is much more relaxed now than it used to be. And you hear like Radiohead songs on films and Led Zeppelin songs on films, and you would never used to hear that because it was sort of, a bit of dirty money to go down a path with a company. And now it's, thankfully for musicians, there's a much more relaxed attitude towards it because it's actually a really great way of making an income, whereas there's a very limited amount of places where you can make an income now. It's just very different. It's much harder to make a living as a musician than it used to be, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
Even for me, as an established artist, it's still a juggle and it's still a stress to try and make the business side of things work. And because of that, a lot of the time I'm touring solo because it's just too expensive to take a band, and I'll go home after touring for 8 weeks with no money, and you've got to run it as a business. So that's partly why I've really expanded my solo show, is that it works much better as a business, as a solo show. But I do enjoy it, and I think my fans really enjoy seeing that as well. But I would love to do a signature guitar. I think it would probably make sense that it was an acoustic guitar. I do play a custom guitar by Gibson, which is the
White
Dove. So it's the White Dove, but I've got the Elvis Dove, which was customed for him, which is black with a white scratch plate. Yeah. But I got stars on my fretboard, which I love. And then I recently commissioned another custom guitar from Gibson, which is it's a completely white Dove. So it's all white scratch plate, white headstock. Fretboard has really beautiful southwestern kind of Native American symbols in it. Because the last record was made in California, and I wrote a lot of it in Joshua Tree in New Mexico as well. So there's been a lot of that influence. So it's a bit of a kind of souvenir of that time.
I'm very jealous of you living in that part of the world.
It's a really amazing place, especially for music, like West Coast pop and rock, and Fleetwood Mac, Johnny Mitchell, Tom Petty. It's just all seminal kind of building blocks of popular music, really. But yeah, I think if I did a signature guitar, I'd probably do a little half-size acoustic. That's the kind of guitar I love playing, as well as these kind of big jumbo ones.
For Invisible Empire, did you play a Washburn? Was it at that time?
I got a little Washburn guitar.
Was stunning.
And it was really cool, and I've still got it, and I need to get it out of storage actually, because it's a very particular sound. It's a blues sound basically, so it sounds like an old, even it's a brand new guitar, it sounds like a battered old little blues guitar. And it's very good for picking. It's a little tricky for strumming because it's a very mid-heavy honky sound, but for picking you can get this lovely tone out of it. It's very cool. One of my other favourite guitars I've got, which I don't play a lot, is Gretsch did these really cool picture guitars that were really cheap. They've got like pictures of cows being abducted by aliens.
What?
And it says Way Out West, and there's another red, that's a green one, that's a cow being abducted by aliens. And then another one, it's like old kind of
I haven't seen those.
Screen print style pictures, and then another one is a cowboy.
I've seen you play the White Falcon.
So that's electric. This is still acoustic, and they're little half size. And I just took all the strings off, and they've just got an E string and an A string, but tuned to the same note. It's just a 2-string guitar that you sort of play like a bass. I play it on a song called Umanak Song, which has got a really cool kind of bass line guitar part. But it's great to experiment with that, with like taking strings off, only having one string. Another really favourite string setting of mine is the Nashville High Strung, which is if you've got a really rubbish guitar that sounds crap, doesn't matter, you just take all the high strings from a 12-string set of strings, just put the high ones on, and any guitar will sound amazing.
I only figured that out in January.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And especially for picking parts, actually, because the voicing's different, because it's not going low to high, it's kind of going a bit, it goes back low again at the top, so you get picking patterns that are impossible to play, and you sound like you're playing something very complicated when actually it can be quite easy. So it's really good. That's a good one to muck about with.
That's amazing. Did you ever have one of those moments? Because I saw Katie play earlier, and you were playing with your thumb, like with the bass note.
Yeah.
And did you have a moment when you figured out how to do that? Because you're self-taught. Because I had like it didn't work.
Do you mean on the fretting? So I have got. Thank you very much. I really appreciate people clapping for my hands. It's amazing.
It's slightly out of sync after track.
So I've got quite skinny fingers and bony knuckles, like quite big knuckles. So I can't play bar chords. I've never been able to play bar chords.
Right.
I just can't. I can't flatten all the strings.
Is that maybe the size of your neck on the Gibsons?
No, it's any guitar ever.
Right.
I can't play bar chords. I just can't dampen, because this bit sticks out and then this bit's too thin and it doesn't get all the strings. So teaching myself guitar, I've just made up chords. So I use a lot of open strings, but I can't play the bar F, so I had to use my thumb. And it's just very normal way of playing for me.
It's a habit.
Yeah, and there's just some shapes that I've taught myself that work up and down the neck as a sort of bar chord alternative. But I'm quite glad, really, because I've ended up with a bunch of chords that are sort of mine rather than what everybody plays.
You went to university to study music. Did you just play guitar there, or did you play another instrument?
No, I went to university mostly on the basis of being a flute player, actually.
Really?
I'm a grade 8 flautist.
Right.
I learned that at high school, and I was also classically trained on piano. So that was the kind of more classical training that I had that took me to uni to do music, but I was really interested in doing composition. And when I got there, it was basically like doing maths, and I had no interest in the course, really.
It's your fault that when I was 18, I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. Yeah. And my parents used you as an example.
Yeah.
Like, KT
she went to university.
She went to university. So I did academic classical music as well. I played the viola, and I haven't played it in 5 years.
Well, listen, I bet you will, because now I'm just making a new record and playing flute on 3 tracks.
Wow.
And so glad that I've got another instrument.
Yeah.
And playing strings is invaluable.
Especially viola, because you've got the...
You can play, if you can put string arrangements on your music and you don't have to pay thousands of pounds for musicians.
That's true.
And you know how to arrange, that's a brilliant skill. I wish I could play violin.
I might have
viola.
to pitch correct it a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. We all do that these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very useful playing all those instruments, and there was I definitely got something from doing the music degree, but I did a joint honours with music and theatre, so I just ended up doing theatre studies I did music, I think, for 2 of the years, and then just did theatre, and so it was much more focused on performance and stuff. So if I did it again, I might go to uni again, but I probably wouldn't study music.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I would go with theatre studies, because actually the performance side of it is just as important as anything else if you want to be a performer.
I would have gone with history of art.
That too, definitely. I mean,
I'm not an actress though. I can't.
Yeah,
I
think
do that.
To be completely honest, if I did it again, I probably wouldn't go to university. I would probably just get on with doing
now,
gigs. It's definitely different, and it's it's a lot of money, and but I got my deal at 29, and I think I would probably prefer to have had things starting a bit earlier than that, rather than having gone through uni. But you can't regret anything, and I met people, and
it kind of worked.
It definitely worked. And I also had an opportunity to gig for a student audience, which was a very safe place to try things out, and, start playing live.
The amount of open mics I've done to figure all that out, and all the things that can still go wrong, even once you've done thousands and thousands of shows. It's just still that
It's
buzz.
good. There's nothing like just practicing and gigging to get you good.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware of your valuable time, so thank you very, very much for joining me.
Pleasure.
And subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week. Bye. There's so many things that I want to ask you, but we just don't have time. It could be a lifetime of conversation.
My favourite colour is turquoise.
Right, that was it. End of interview.